Hey friends, welcome to the Woodshed Homestead. My name is Jennifer. I live on a 37-acre farm near the coast of South Carolina with my husband and 3 daughters. We enjoy raising our own meat and gardening. My passion is cooking, canning, preserving food, and living out God's plan for us here on the farm. I hope that you will join us on this journey and learn something along the way. Friends, I hope y'all are doing well. I wanted to share a real quick recipe with y'all that I grew up eating, and now my children love it as well. My grandmother would make this quite often, you know, if we were sick or someone was feeling under the weather, or sometimes it was just a quick, simple, easy meal on one of those super cold days. And today my youngest daughter's not feeling well, and she requested Grandma Bet's chicken soup. And if you had the privilege to know my grandmother, then you may know exactly what I'm talking about. But this is a simple recipe that she learned from my grandfather's mother, so my great-grandmother. My grandfather was raised during the Great Depression. They were from the Myrtle Beach, Socastee area, and he grew up very poor, and this was something that he said that they would eat very often. And after him and my grandmother got married, my great-grandmother showed her how to make it, and that tradition was passed on to me, and now my children know how to make it and request this often. It is probably one of the easiest things you'll ever make, but it's one of those comfort foods that when you eat it, it just kind of warms your heart and your soul and just makes you feel better from the inside out. It starts with chicken broth. This is fresh home canned chicken broth that I recently canned and have sitting on the shelf, but you could use chicken stock from the store. You could boil a chicken and use the stock from it occasionally. If I'm making this more as like a meal, I will put chicken in this. Today my daughter just wants it because she's got a sore throat, so I'm just gonna make it without the chicken. But you can use store-bought chicken stock. You could use bouillon powder and water. You could use home canned chicken stock. Whatever is easiest for you. So you have your chicken broth, cornmeal. It can be yellow cornmeal, white cornmeal, it doesn't matter. A couple of eggs, just regular old eggs, and salt and pepper. I've never eaten anything that tastes quite like this. It's kind of one of those things, you either love it or hate it, but this is definitely a depression recipe for those people who, well, you know, were a little less fortunate during those times. I think, you know, history proves that, you know, that was a rough time in general, but some people definitely had it harder than others. So just gonna pour this chicken stock into a pot, and I'm gonna let that come up to a boil. And once it starts boiling, all we're gonna do is whisk up, for this was a quart of chicken stock, I'm gonna put 2 eggs, and my grandmother didn't really measure anything, so 2 eggs. I'm gonna whisk those up in a bowl, and then I'm just gonna take enough cornmeal to cover the palm of my hand right here. I'm gonna mix that into the eggs. I'm gonna stir all that together, and I'm just gonna slowly incorporate that into this boiling stock, and then I'm gonna season it with salt and pepper, and it just makes a super easy, like I said, it's just one of those comfort foods that it brings back a lot of memories for me. It brings back memories for my girls. It's one of the few things that all 3 of them remember about my grandmother, and so they request this quite often, and I'd love to share this with y'all, and I hope that y'all will try it. Like I said, you can definitely add chicken to it and make it a little more hearty, have a little more protein in it. Typically, if we were gonna eat this for a meal at my grandmother's house, she would make this. Sometimes she'd make a pot of rice to go with it, and she would pour this over the rice. My granddaddy loved rice. Sometimes she'd make cornbread with it. Sometimes she'd make biscuits with it. And, you know, like a piece of side meat or a piece of sausage or just something super easy like that. And that's just how I grew up eating. And I'm thankful for those days, and I'm thankful that she embedded this knowledge into me. So I will bring this up to a boil, and then I'll show you what we're gonna do with it next. Okay, our chicken stock is boiling, so we're gonna crack 2 eggs into a bowl, and we're gonna whisk those up. And so once we get these whisked up, we're going to add, just like I said, a palmful of yellow cornmeal. Nothing fancy here. So probably, I'm gonna hold this out in my hand. My hands are clean. Maybe that much. I might do a little bit more. And we're just gonna whisk this together. And then I've kept my chicken stock boiling at a rolling boil. And we're just going to slowly incorporate this egg and cornmeal mixture into this boiling stock. And I'll show you what that looks like. You want to make sure you keep whisking as you're pouring and incorporating this, or else this cornmeal and egg will clump up, and it does it changes the texture when it's in huge clumps. This is not the most eye appealing soup, but I promise if you try it, if you give it a chance, you will be shocked at how good it tastes. And then I'm just gonna add a little bit of salt and pepper. When I made my chicken stock, I seasoned that really well to begin with, but just that quickly, you have a pot of soup. I'm gonna put some of this in a bowl so y'all can see it a little better, but that's how quick and easy it is to make depression era chicken soup using 3 ingredients: chicken stock, cornmeal, eggs, and then of course salt and pepper if you want it. So 5 ingredients, but I don't count salt and pepper as an ingredient, it's a necessity. Let me grab a spoon and a ladle, and I'm gonna put some of this in a bowl and show y'all what that looks like. So the nice thing about this recipe too is that it is super, super quick, as y'all can tell. It literally took me, what, 5 minutes to make that? And like I said, a lot of times I do add chicken to this. I keep fresh canned chicken on my shelf all the time. And so that is just chicken that I have par cooked and then pressure canned. And it makes for super quick, super easy meals. I'll show y'all that in a different video. But a lot of times I will take a can of that and add the juice and the chicken into the soup. And it just gives it a little bit more substance and bulks it up and also adds protein into it. But you know, my grandfather didn't necessarily grow up eating this with chicken in it because, like I said, they were poor. His father died when he was very young, and so unfortunately they didn't have a lot of the luxuries that, you know, even some other people during that era, that time period had. So you can see it's just super simple, super cheap, super easy depression era chicken soup. Give it a try. Let me know what you think. Leave me a comment, like, subscribe, and share, and I will keep sharing the knowledge that the Lord has blessed me with y'all. I hope y'all have a blessed day, and remember that in all things, God is good and that He loves all of y'all, and I love you too. Till the next time, see you later.